So Julian, you in your talk today, you said that the Lib Dems, like all other parties, were a coalition with a split. Would you like to just explain that, and also explain whether you think current coalition thinking is a long way away from mainstream liberal democracy?
Sure. Well, I mean, I was simply making the point that all parties are in and of themselves coalitions of different views. And that in many ways the Lib Dem coalition is perhaps a less unnatural, less difficult one to maintain than the others. I think the distance from the left to the right of the Labour Party or the left to the right of the Conservative Party is not as far as from one side of the Lib Dems to the other. But they are, of course, different views, different traditions within all parties. And in the Lib Dems, those traditions are economic liberals, and social liberals, and the difference between the two of them essentially is the view they take about the boundary between state action and individual action.
So one of the things, obviously we had a session before about the big society, and an event we had on the coalition, where one of the unlikely partnerships that I think your colleague Ollie Grender mentioned was the successful partnership between Eric Pickles and Andrew Stunnell in DCLG. Do you see it coming together of ideas between perhaps Cameron conservatism and liberal democracy in the coalition?
I do. I mean, the Conservatives talk about the big society, which is a some new language and a new theme which hasn't quite taken off, some might say. I would say Liberals have been talking about this agenda for decades, back to the years of community politics, and it's based on a very simple insight, which is that to achieve profound positive social change, you have to actually involve people. This isn't something that can be done to them by the state. You have to mobilise a whole range of resources, individuals, families, and community groups, public service professionals, and other sort of loose associations, issue by issue. And I think that the central insight, and one around which both the Conservatives and the Lib Dems have managed to coalesce, is that real, profound, lasting, positive change cannot be done unless you mobilise all of these resources.
And finally, do you think there's a danger that by 2015, when we see the next election, that the Lib Dems in a sense have lost that agenda to the Conservatives, and it's seen as a Conservative idea rather than as a distinct Lib Dem idea?
It's one of 100 hypothetical dangers you could point to. I mean, being the smaller of two coalition partners is not a danger-free proposition. But you've got to weigh against those dangers the great opportunity for the Lib Dems, which is after years and years and years of people saying that this is a party that is incapable of governing, that is just rooted in perpetual opposition. They've actually developed, by then, they hope, a reputation for competence and effectiveness and all the credibility that goes with it.
Julian Astle, thank you very much.
Thank you.